Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much, Laurie, for setting this up. I'm excited to be here again. My name is Eric Johnson, creator and CEO of Teamzy. And I'm excited to talk to you all today. How many of you, just for just so I have an idea, how many of you guys are using Teamzy actively already?
I can't raise my hand, but I am.
Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is I'll make sure there's plenty of good stuff for everybody, whether you're brand new, never used it, or you're a pro. Okay. But what I want to do is I'm going to take you through, I'll show you Teamzy, we'll set it up, and I'll do a power hour with you so you guys can see the workflows on how to do that efficiently. I bet some of you will be surprised. Oh, I didn't know I could do it that way. But also I want to teach you a little bit about relationship marketing also, because Teamzy is more than just this cool app that makes your life efficient. It's actually an approach to doing business. And it's a way to do business that everybody can duplicate. You don't have to be some special, amazing person, the 1 or 2% of network marketing who make it. To do this system, everybody can do it. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do it without being salesy, without being cheesy. We're going to teach you a little bit about relationship marketing first. Sound good? So if you're in a place where you can take notes.
Okay, Eric, can I say one thing really quick?
Yeah.
So I'll never forget when I started using Teamzy this last spring, and I used your scripts, and that's when my daughter was living home, my college student that's on here, and I ran down the hall screaming. I'm like, oh my gosh, those crazy scripts really actually work. I'm like, they got back to me. So I got to give you kudos. I couldn't believe they'd actually work, and they did.
They do. Well, and I'll teach you guys a little bit about what she means specifically, but it's about getting in the make someone's day mindset. And I'll explain to you guys how effective that is. But let's dive right in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, Laurie. So from anyone coming in the waiting room now, they're yours to admit, because I'm going to have my presentation on. So here's what I want to talk to you guys about. How to systemize your success with relationship marketing to become a power hour boss. And you guys can use that hashtag because I want to empower you to be power hour bosses from here on out, getting your business work done in less than an hour a day. So it's just a little introduction of me for those of you who don't know me beyond the Teamzy realm. My background is in business coaching and consulting. I've been a professional business consultant for 20 years now. Crazy. And network marketing, direct sales is not my background. I come from, normal, quote unquote, business, the kind where people have to invest thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars to start their business. You guys don't have to do that, which is pretty cool. But about, I guess about 6-7 years ago, I kind of found myself in a place in my career where I was, the career was doing great. I had achieved everything I wanted to do, but I felt kind of stuck. I'm sure some of you can relate to this. There was nowhere left to grow. And I'm a growth oriented person. So I was starting to kind of go out of my mind, wanting to grow somewhere, nothing left to do. The other piece of the puzzle was I wanted to make some more money, because anybody interested in making more money? That was me. I wanted to make some more money. I live in Southern California. It's really expensive. And, my wife and I have 4 beautiful children. Here's a shot of those guys. And, I just wanted to be able to grow into a home where everybody had room to move. And, I needed something to happen. And so I started looking around for opportunities, something I could do on the side. Of course, I found direct sales. What a great opportunity. You can start a business with no investment. You just got to put some effort into it. The challenge that I had was when am I going to do this? How am I going to squeeze this into my schedule? It's already so busy. How will I do this? And so I figured that I could get this done if I was really focused. Maybe I could squeeze 1 hour a day into building my business. So what I did was, and I'm just going to let Freddie in. What I did was I started thinking to myself, if I could find the right tools, I could leverage that. All the things I know I need to get done every day to build my business, I could leverage those in a short amount of time if I had the right tools. So I started looking for software to help me in the business. What I found, and you guys heard Laurie say, I wish I had this 9 years ago. Well, even 6 years ago, there was still nothing. There was nothing in our industry. People were making apps that they could sell to corporate, but they didn't do anything for people in the field. They didn't help us do the stuff we needed to do. And so I got some people smarter than me. We put them together and we built Teamzy. And about just under 5 years ago, we released Teamzy to just 20 of my friends. That's kind of how it happened. And then it just spread like wildfire from there. But just to kind of give you an idea of what's happened with Teamzy over the last 4.5 years, we've had more than 120,000 network marketers use Teamzy, which is Amazing. It's just humbling for me because again, it's just been by word of mouth, really. We started Teamzy I texted 20 people and put a $200 Facebook ad up. That's how we started the company. Pretty cool. Also, to give you some idea of what's happening for people in the Xyngular network, our active users, they're averaging 36 customers and 14 new recruits over 90 days. Okay, let me just say that again. 36 customers and 14 recruits over 90 days. I kind of laugh. I'm so happy to be part of the Xyngular family, and I apologize for any way we contributed to you guys outselling supply this year. But I think that's a good problem to have. That's what's called a positive problem in this industry, right? So you guys did a great job. But we're amazed by those results. I have to tell you, those results are quite a bit higher than we've seen in other networks. So you guys are a special group. But I'm really excited about those numbers we're seeing for people using Teamzy actively. And as I demonstrate today, I'll show you exactly what I mean. It's still less than an hour a day, you guys, to get numbers like that, which is pretty cool. It's just about being consistent and focused. Okay. So let's talk about the topic. What is relationship marketing? What is relationship marketing? First off, I want you to understand relationship marketing is a philosophy of doing business that puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. Okay, it's a philosophy of doing business that puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. Our industry tends to have a bad reputation. Have you guys noticed this? People are a bit skeptical because for so long, people have put sales ahead of relationships. That's backwards. So we're going to put relationships and people first, and it's going to show in how the business grows and how people receive you. Also, I want you to know that relationship marketing is not some abstract feel-good concept. Oh, it's relationships, yay. We're going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya at the end of the call, right? No, this is a proven system. It's a proven system that we follow, always knowing what to do next. Okay, it's a proven system that we follow, always knowing what to do next. I've been teaching relationship marketing 20 years now, only for the past 5 in network marketing. Okay, these are business principles, you guys. These are business principles. Okay, so also I want you to understand that relationship marketing is a lead generation system. It's a lead generation system. Okay, and that's a system that initiates consumer interest or inquiry into the products or services of a business. Bottom line, as great as Xyngular is, your job is not selling Xyngular products. You're a business owner, okay? Your business is lead generation. You're in the lead generation business. It's a mindset shift. And what do I mean by that? Here's the definition. You're going to be initiating consumer interest or inquiry. That's what we're doing. Activities that initiate consumer interest or inquiry. And quite simply, we're going to help people get interested so that we can help them solve problems they might have, right? As we go on. But this is important. You just need to know that you can be really busy in your business, but if you're not doing lead generation work, if you're not implementing things like this on a daily basis, you're not actually building your business. You're just feeling busy. The next principle on relationship marketing is this: developing and deepening relationships is your paramount duty as a business owner. Developing and deepening relationships is your paramount duty as a business owner. So we're going to create interest so that we can develop relationships. Make sense? This is so important. I want you guys to really understand this because every trainer out there says they throw up relationships like it's nothing. Relationships, relationships, relationships. But you guys really need to hone in on this. Relationships are incredibly valuable for every reason under the sun, but especially in your business. A sale is a commission spent, right? A sale is a commission spent, but a relationship is something that continues to grow. It's an investment. So I want you guys to really understand that. Why do we need to focus on building relationships? Because we turn relationships into advocates. We turn relationships into advocates by investing time and providing outstanding service. This is the key to the business. Why do I have people who come to me and say, Eric, I've made over $250,000 a year for the past 5 years in my business, but I hate it. I'm burnt out. I'm stressed out. I don't want to keep beating the bushes forever to keep this business going. They were missing the point. The point was to build advocates. An army of advocates keeps your business growing for you. Okay, so I just want you guys to get this. It's not just about getting someone to buy or somebody to join the team. It's about creating advocates. Every single person who says, no, I'm not interested, can become your advocate, can still be driving people to your business. Okay, Next principle, relationship marketing depends on trust. Relationship marketing depends on trust. And some of you have heard me say this. In other words, if you're a jerk, this ain't going to work. If you're a jerk, this ain't going to work. Relationship marketing depends on trust. You cannot afford to do anything disingenuous or sneaky or tricky with relationship marketing because it'll fall apart. We need to build trust. And most of what's being taught in our industry is just a little bit shady. If it's not downright shady, it's just a little bit, right? It just makes you feel just like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. You don't have to do that because there's no system more effective than building relationships. Okay. But here's the good news. Trust makes the work fun. Trust makes the work fun. You don't have to convince somebody. You don't have to go try to sell them into something. If they trust you even a little bit, you can get right to helping them. Also, trust removes the ickiness from the sales process. You will never be perceived as an icky salesperson if you're focused on earning trust. How many of you guys, that would be cool? Like that's my biggest fear, right? Coming across icky. The other half of coming across icky is getting rejected. Anybody just have a serious fear of rejection? It's okay. I hate getting rejected. With relationship marketing, you don't go for no. You don't go for rejection. You go for yes. You go for yes. And we avoid the common rejection that makes people lose their enthusiasm for this business because of the way we're approaching people. Okay, so how do you build trust? Let me just teach you the basics. Here's how to build trust. The 4 essential ingredients to building trust. I'll go through them quickly, then I'll break them down for you. Okay, number 1 is chemistry. Okay, number 1 is chemistry. Number 2 is character. Number 3 is competence. And number 4 is consistency. Chemistry, character, competence, consistency. Okay. Chemistry. Chemistry is where you have common ground with someone. What is it about you they can relate to? Okay. Chemistry is where you have common ground with someone. What is it about you they can relate to? When we meet new people, our first job is to build rapport and get to know them. Here's why. People want to do business with friends. Okay. I know that sounds obvious, but I'm going to say it again because it's really important. People want to do business with friends. There's lots of places they can find Xyngular products. They want to do business with you. Does it make sense? It's about you. It's about your relationship. What is it about you they can relate to? If you're getting to know somebody, ask some questions. Find out what you have in common. We have things in common with everybody. Okay. Chemistry is where we have common ground with someone. It's important. The flip side of this coin is this. Nobody wants to do business with someone they don't like. Nobody wants to do business with someone they don't like. So, and they'd rather do business with a friend. Number 2, character. Character is when you demonstrate how much you care and that you're relatable. Character is when you demonstrate how much you care and that you're relatable. So there's a couple pieces to this. First off, guess what? You don't have character. We think character is something we have. Character is not something we have. Character is something we do. Character is something we do. It's something you need to commit to doing every day. People want to do business with someone they feel cares for them. Does it make sense? So your character is the most important part of your marketing. And it's something you have to demonstrate through everything you do, how you take care of a prospect, how you serve your customers, how you treat your team, how you treat, I always say how you treat people who serve you out in the world, how you drive your car on the highway. How many of you guys have Xyngular, cool Xyngular stuff on your car? Does that make you more polite in the car? Yeah, right? Because you're demonstrating your character through your actions. It's everything we do. People are watching. They want to know that you care about other people. They want to see you caring about other people. The other piece of this is being relatable. And this is important, especially when you've reached some success in the business. Once you guys start getting to those upper echelons of the business, and it's like, it's no big deal that you're going to Riviera Maya. It's no big deal that you got a new car and what happens is you start to forget about who you were when you started the business. You start to forget about why you signed up in the first place. And it's so important for you guys who are getting to a point where you're getting really successful in the business. It's so important that you continue to tell the story of why and when you got started. You need to stay relatable to the new people. Does this make sense? So there's 2 pieces of this: constantly showing your care and staying relatable as you go. Because people want to see the success, but they also want to know that you're like them. Just a real quick little story on this, just that came to mind. Good friend of mine, Beverly, who I've gotten to know. She's been in a few of my boot camps. First time she went through my trainings, she messaged me and said, "I'm really struggling. I feel like people aren't responding to me, the way I want." And she says, "Can you take a look at my Facebook page and my Instagram? Tell me what you think." And so I said, "Sure." So I looked at her Facebook page, and it was really great. She was sharing all kinds of expertise, but I couldn't tell what business she was in. She never said, "This is my business. And hey, by the way, you can get it from me," type thing. And so we made a few adjustments to how she was communicating. And, but here was the piece of the puzzle too. She was not only not sharing that she was in business, but she never shared with people her struggle. See, here was this incredible, strong, healthy, vibrant person. But when I talked to her, she told me about how, as a career military woman, she had to leave the military because she was so frail. She had gotten so sick. She had all kinds of autoimmune issues happening. She couldn't even, muster herself to do her work. She had to leave the military. And now I look at her, well, what happened? She changed her life. The products changed her life. She got her nutrition going. She's this incredibly strong person. I said, you need to let people know that you were frail. They need to know that story every single day. That story needs to come out of your mouth, because people are impressed and inspired by you, but they also need to relate to you and what you have overcome, because they have things to overcome too. Does this make sense? Character is huge, you guys. And it's a daily thing. You got to demonstrate every day. It does not matter how amazing you could have been Mother Teresa your whole life, doesn't matter. It's how you're demonstrating your character today that matters. Number 3 is competence. Competence is when you demonstrate you're good at what you do and you're a business person. Okay? Good at what you do and a business person. 2 pieces of this. I have a specific problem or need. Can you help me? Why should I get it? Why should I buy from you? Do you know what you're talking about? Can you explain your products to me and how they work and how they can help me based on the problems I told you I have? This is the first piece. And if you're new to the business, guys, your first job is to learn everything you can about the Xyngular products, how they work. Learn all the stories on how they've helped people, so that it's at the tip of your tongue, so that you can help people with that knowledge. Does this make sense? Then you'll find people will be glad and excited to buy from you. Number 2 is, why should I join your team? Why should I join your team? Do I believe that you could mentor me to be successful in this business? And listen, let's be honest. Some of your friends and family don't. They've seen you with your pants on backwards. It's going to take a little while for you to demonstrate that competence, but you need to be showing them your growth. Hey, I just learned this. Think about your social media posts. It's a great opportunity to share what you're learning. I just learned this. Did you guys know this? Wow, I never knew this. I never realized this. Oh, I just crossed a milestone. People see you growing in competence. Does this make sense? People see you growing in competence. Now, here's the other thing. When you're new, don't ever pretend to be more competent than you are. The whole fake it till you make it thing, this is not the application for that. What I want you to do when you're new is you lean into the competence of your team. You talk about your upline, what they've achieved, how amazing they are, how knowledgeable they are. Okay? And you let people know that by connecting with you, they're connecting with them. Does this make sense? So for product support, they're on speed dial. To get mentored in the business, hey, they're going to mentor us together. So you plug people into the team competence in the beginning. Does this make sense? And then continue to show your journey. But this is huge, you guys. We need to build chemistry with people. We need to show them how much we care through our character. We need people to see how competent we are so they can trust us to do business with us. There's a principle behind this real quick, and then we'll jump to number 4. Here's the principle. When somebody's thinking of doing business with you, they really only care about 3 things. Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Are you good at what you do? Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Are you good at what you do? And when people feel these are true, you have built an advocate, somebody who will go out of their way to talk to you, other people about your business. When somebody is not sure about one or any of these questions, they will raise objections. Okay? They'll raise objections. And that's not a serious thing. That's not a bad thing. Objections are great. You can overcome them and you start working on that relationship. If they know the answer to any one of these is no, they will not do business with you, or they will stop doing business with you. These are important emotions that people feel. and it determines whether or not they will consider doing business with you. They will be your advocate, or they won't do business with you. Okay, let's talk about number 4, consistency. Consistency. You mean I got to do some work? Yes, you got to do some work. And I'm glad that this call has been put on by Laurie, who's somebody who's very consistent about doing her Teamzy reach outs and connects. She's very consistent, which is awesome. Congratulations, by the way, Laurie, on your consistency. And I'll be honest, a lot of leaders ask me to train their teams and they don't walk the walk. So good on you for doing that. She's somebody you guys can look up to. But to make this work, you got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. Remember, we're talking about building trust. Building trust. The last person you want to trust is the person who starts the sentence with "trust me," right? Because when you're consistent, you don't have to say that. People just trust you. Here's a principle that's really cool, though. Beyond just being consistent, provides trust and helps people really want to do business with you. This is a kind of an extra bonus, is that people respect consistency and desire it for themselves. People respect consistency and desire it for themselves. What happens is they see you doing good things. It inspires them. Have any of you guys been told by people that you inspire them? That your posts are inspiring? That it's like, me? I inspire you? It cracks me up, right? I mean, Laurie and I were just chatting at the beginning of the call. She says, I feel like I'm in the presence of a celebrity. Like that made me chuckle. Me, a celebrity? No, but because here's what it is, guys. People respect consistency and desire it for themselves. When you're consistent and inspires others, guess what else it does? It attracts them to you. They want to become part of your tribe. This is how you build your team. You don't build your team by just, being like a fancy speaker. You build your team by them seeing you do your work. They see you being consistent. They see you improving your life, helping other people. Gosh, I kind of want that. Does this make sense? The consistency builds the trust and it builds your team. It's kind of cool. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick and then we'll dive into Teamzy and I'll do a power hour demo for you guys. How many of you, let me turn this off so I can see your faces. Do you guys have your cameras on? Turn them on real quick if you're dressed. I always have to throw out that little caveat because you'd be amazed. I'm sure you guys are on enough Zooms. You've seen crazy stuff happen. So how many of you guys are consistent products of your product? Xyngular is part of your lifestyle. You use it. Everyone know, and you do it publicly, not secretly. Good. You got to be, right? I actually had somebody once ask me, Eric, can you help me? My business is really on a downturn. And I said, first question I asked was, are you using the products? He goes, well, I haven't really used them for 6 months. What do you expect? Right? It's key. It's a key piece. How about social media? Who is consistent? You're sharing your journey. You're sharing what you're doing. You're sharing experiences on social media. People actually know that you're in the Xyngular business. Okay, about half. So there's something, that's another training. We'll have to do another one. It's important, right, though, that we be consistent sharing because you're not gonna do business if your business is a secret. Right? That makes sense, right, guys? Yeah, you can't be a secret and expect to do business. How about with relationships? And this is what I want to talk to you guys about, the most important piece, being in consistent contact with the relationships in your life. How many people need some help with this? That's okay, good. I mean, that's why we're here. This is where the rubber hits the road, though. The most important thing you can do for your business is to build relationships. And the only way to do this is to be in contact with people. Okay. I like to say relationship building is a contact sport. You got to be in contact with people. You got to be in contact with people. Now, here's an important principle I want to share with you. If you want to build relationships, the only way to deepen them is this. Investing time and connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Okay. 2 pieces of it. Investing time, connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. This is a fundamental principle. The whole reason Teamzy was built was around this principle. If you want to deepen relationships, you need to invest time and connect with people. Now, just to give you a quick example of this, okay? I'm going to come back to your faces for this real quick. How many of you have ever received a card or a letter from somebody that you love, like a handwritten message in it? When you read it, it was like, oh, gosh. Hopefully everybody, right? Hopefully everybody. Okay. Cool. I see the hands going up. I was going to say, if you've never received a beautiful card like that, please just put your address in the chat and we'll write you one. You should all have that. Okay, but for everyone who raised their hand and probably thought of one or two specific ones, do you still have it? Did you keep it? How many of you have kept it? Or you've got a stash? You guys have a stash of these somewhere? Of course, right? You know what's funny is I recently did this training for a team in Singapore. That's about as far away from mainland US as you can get. And guess what? They keep theirs in a stash too. It's universal. It's universal. Here's an example though of a different type. This is a happy birthday postcard. Have you guys ever received one of these? You get these from businesses, right? This is a happy birthday postcard. This one's from my life insurance salesperson. He sent me a little happy birthday postcard. Isn't it nice? It's kind of nice, right? How many of you have received one of these from somebody? Cool, everybody. How many of you kept this? It's in the special secret stash of your most beautiful. Nobody does, right? These get thrown away. I always joke about this. Like, is this going to be, will my son Cruz use this as the bookmark in the family Bible when I'm gone? Probably not. But isn't it interesting that people do keep cards and letters from loved ones when they're gone? We cherish them. So let's just break this down. This is the principle at work. If you want to deepen a relationship, you've got to invest time and connect with someone. Why do we not value this? First off, this requires zero investment of time. So we have no value. We put no value on it. He did not have to invest any time into this. All he had to do was write a check to some marketing company to do this for him. Make sense? Automatic marketing has very little impact because we know they invested no time in it. The second piece of this is not personal. This is a bulk mail out. It's impersonal. So it's not a personal connection. It required no investment of time. We put zero value in it. We throw it away. If you're like me, I live in California. Some of you guys can relate. You know, we enter the house through the garage. How many of you guys drive into your home? And that's, so we drive into the home, close the garage door, and then I have the recycling bin next to the car where most of the mail goes before it reaches the home. This wouldn't even breach my home. It would be in the recycling bin in the garage. Zero value. So how do we do it? How do we reach out, invest time, and connect with people so that we can deepen relationships and create an army of advocates? And that's why we built Teamzy. I'm going to show you guys in a second. You don't need to be writing love letters. Though, whenever you can think of a reason to write somebody a handwritten note, you should do it because they will keep it forever. They will keep it forever if you put your heart into it. But even just reaching out, messaging someone, sending them a text message, it's personal, it's an investment of time, and it makes an impact. It makes a real impact. And I want you guys to think about this whenever you feel the seductive pull towards some sort of automated marketing system. Automated marketing looks like this to the person receiving it. Does this make sense? Okay, so let's dive back in here, and I'll show you how we actually do this in Teamzy. Again, if you didn't get that note, make sure you get this note. The principle is investing time and connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Okay. This is all great, but you got to have a system. You can't just have philosophy. You got to have a system. A system helps you do it consistently. A system makes this duplicatable with your team. You need a way to stay in contact with all your relationships. You need to know when to contact people, when not to, right? Don't have to overthink this. Just know when to contact them. Know what you're going to say so you don't stare at the screen all day. Oh my gosh, what am I going to say? How many of you guys are perfectionists or recovering perfectionists? Yeah, so we get stuck in analysis paralysis. You just need to know what to say to get these conversations going and make sure that nobody falls through the cracks. I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but this is a huge problem in our business. People fall through the cracks. We do all this work to get them interested and then we drop them through the cracks. All right, so let me dive into Teamzy because clearly that's the system we're going to show. First off, I know a bunch of you are already using Teamzy. If you're not already using Teamzy, you go to teamzy.com/Xyngular. Teamzy.com/Xyngular. You can get a 30-day free trial, no strings attached. Okay, we won't ask for a credit card number or anything. 30-day free trial, teamzy.com/Xyngular. Okay. So let's see here. Here we go. So once you log into your free trial, you'll be in the setup wizard. This is for people like me who are not real techie. How many of you guys thought I was real techie? up until right now. Not a chance. I'm not real techie, so I had to build this simple enough for me to use. So the setup wizard is there to really help you set this up without really having to be too good at it. There's just big buttons that you click that say next. Okay, so the first thing I want you to look at is this page. You're gonna set an income goal. You're just gonna tell Teamzy, this is how much I'd like to be earning per year in my business, okay? So you put your goal in there, and this is the goal you'd like to get to within 12 months. So you can see I set mine at 150,000 a year. Now you can move that up or down by sliding this, okay? All right, great. So wherever you want it, you set it, and then you go to continue. Now, just real quick, I know some of you guys have been doing this a while. If you've already got a significant income from your Xyngular business, then your goal will be the difference you want to see between this year's income and next year's, okay? So if you're already making 100,000 a year and next year you want to make 200,000 a year, your goal in Teamzy is 100,000. Does this make sense? So it's the difference. If you're new, just put your full goal in there. Set it for at least 100,000 a year. Okay? Set it for at least, you may be like, Eric, I don't even want that much. I'm cool with just a couple of $500 a month. Just set it for 100,000 a year because it's going to be way less than an hour's work a day anyway. Let's just go for it, right? Why not? You've got the tools now. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to click continue. Hold on, I talked too long. Let me just refresh my page. Click continue. Now it's Teamzy's now set up to my goal. So each of you will have a customized dashboard based on your specific goal. Next step is we're going to get all your contacts into Teamzy. How many of you guys have sticky notes and pads of paper roaming all over your house trying to find people's stuff? So forget that. We're going to put it all in Teamzy. It's in one place. Teamzy's cloud-based, which means it's in your phone. It's in your computer. It's everywhere. So you'll always have it on you, right? You meet somebody, you don't need to write their name on a napkin. You put it right, pull out your phone, put them right in your Teamzy account. Set your follow-up for tomorrow. It's done. So easy, okay? Something else happens besides getting you organized, getting all your contacts in one place, and I'll show you in a second. Teamzy has a smart algorithm so that nobody falls through the cracks, so that you stay in touch with everybody you put in Teamzy. It's pretty cool. And you get your Facebook friends, your Instagram followers, your team, your back office people, everybody in Teamzy, okay? One place. All right. So once you're all set up, here's what the Teamzy dashboard looks like. Just give you a quick tour of a couple pieces of this, and then I'm going to show you how to do a power hour. Okay, I'll take you through the process, and then we'll do Q&A. For anyone who has questions, you can hang out and ask me anything. Okay, so here's the quick things on the dashboard. First thing I want you to see is right here where it says today's activities. You guys see that? If you're on your phone, sorry, I know it's kind of small, but we are recording it for you. Don't worry. So this shows me my goals for today. My goals, these are based on my income goal. So I have a goal to connect with 9 prospects today. You can see I haven't done any yet, still says 0. I've got a goal to connect with 6 customers and 4 distributors. Now, just real quick, when I say connect, I don't mean some cheesy sales script. I don't mean I'm sending them a video and asking them to watch it, because they're not going to watch it, right? I mean, I'm just going to connect to say hello with the goal of making their day. Okay, I just want to make their day. Especially now, oh my gosh, with the way this year has gone, do you know how powerful it is to reach out just to make somebody's day? It's unbelievable. And I call this the make someone's day mindset. So I want you to live there, the make someone's day mindset. What do you do in a power hour? You make a certain amount of people's day. My goal is 19 people. Boom. $150,000 a year means that you make 19 people's day 5 days a week. Pretty cool system, right? And I'll show you guys how we do that in a second. Now I've got another goal here of shares. See, I've got a goal to share 3 times. A share, quite simply, that's when I share a product solution with somebody or I share the business opportunity with somebody. Okay. And I'm going to log those because that's an important milestone towards the success. I want to start conversations, but I also need to be sharing. But I've only got a goal to share 3. You notice that? I'm going to connect with 19 people, but share with 3. And that's because it's not always appropriate to share. But if I'm starting enough conversations, I'm creating tons of opportunities to share. And then I've also got a goal to add new people to my Teamzy account every day to keep it fresh. Okay. So those are my daily goals. Now, this is an important concept. Teamzy will only show you today's goals because if you want a business to be big, how many of you guys want to build a big business? If you want a business to be big, you must have a focus that is small. Okay. Does it make sense? If you want a business to be big, you must have a focus that is small. I love that Darren Hardy in his book, The Compound Effect. How many of you guys have read The Compound Effect? Darren Hardy. I just thought of this for some weird reason. He talked about the real estate office where the receptionist had a bowl of M&Ms in front of her desk. Do you guys remember the story? And the difference between grabbing 3 M&Ms on your way by her every morning or not to somebody's weight. And it was like 9 pounds or something over the course of a year. Can you believe that? Like that, it's the small focus that's going to get you the big results in this business. And so I want you guys to look at today's activities. This is all you need to do today. What's your power hour today look like? Make sense? And if you can keep that focus and you can do it consistently enough, at the end of the year, you're going to hit that big goal. Okay. Now I'm going to scroll down a little bit here to the power hour. This is where you're going to do your work. Okay. Now Teamzy is a CRM. You guys may or may not have heard of that terminology. It's a type of software that tracks all your contacts and the names of their dogs and all your conversations. Everything's tracked in there for you, right? But this power hour section right on the front is where you're going to do your work. This allows you to be super efficient so you can get this done quickly without really having to think or plan. This is why I love it. Don't make me think, right? Don't make me think. So let me show you how this works. I've got 4 lists in my power hour: prospects, customers, distributors, and my follow-ups list. Okay. On the right-hand side is where I log whatever message I send right as I go so that it's tracked. I don't want to have to come back later and do homework. I just want to log it as I go. So it's tracked as we go. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to message the people on the list, whoever's up next. And remember, Teamzy's algorithm will cycle people through this list automatically. You don't have to set it. You don't have to set follow-ups for this. It's just going to cycle them automatically. And it does it based on these numbers next to their names. These are their ranks. You know, they're ranked between 1 and 5 stars. And depending on how many stars you give them, they'll show up first on your list and they'll come back more often. So the stars control how often you talk to them. So 5-star people come back automatically every 30 days. Okay. You don't have to set a follow-up. You just put them 5 stars. They come back every 30 days. 4-star people come back every 60 days. 3-star people come back every 90 days. 2 stars every 120 days. Does this make sense? So the more stars, the more often. Okay. And just to kind of give you an idea, most people, 90% of their list will be 3-star. That's every 90 days. Okay. And that's normal. And that's why when you bring people into teams, they all default to 3 stars. So you really only have to rank about 10, 15% of your list, your 5 and 4-star people. That make sense? Okay. So now we're going to so once you've got all that done in Teamzy, you do it real quick. When you bring everybody in, you rank them. Teamzy will automatically create this list every day. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it. So whoever's up next, you connect. So Laurie's at the top of my prospect list today. So I'm going to send her a message. Now, when we first released Teamzy, we didn't have any scripts in there. We just assumed you already knew what to say. We were just going to help you get organized. And everyone was like, Eric, what do I say? People would get stuck staring at the screen. So I put all my scripts in Teamzy for you to use. Okay. And they work amazing. We've had so many people tell me, Laurie, you just said a minute ago, they actually work. The reason why these scripts that are in Teamzy work is because they're based on psychology. They're based on the fact that people are skeptical. People have their arms crossed and they're in defense mode against some new offer that you're going to give them. But they are excited to hear from you. They do want to talk to you, right? And so what we're going to do is, remember, our goal is just to make their day. So if you're not sure what to say, just click on scripts right here and just grab a script. Now, I'll show you guys how simple these are. Here's the first script on the list, connect number 1. Here's how it reads in case you can't see it. It says, hi, Jane, just stopping by to say hello. How are you? I hope your day is awesome. It's so simple, you guys. But basically what this script says is, I'm not trying to do anything weird. I just really want to brighten your day. And what happens is people respond to it. So let me just click on this, copy script, and then I'm going to paste it in here so I can do some editing before I actually send it to her. Obviously, her name is not Jane, so we'll change the name. Little pro tip while I'm doing this, always, the first message you send every time you start a conversation, always put their name in it. Always put their name in it. Don't say, hey, sweetie, or hey, girl, because now it looks impersonal, okay? You want it to be personal. So whatever emojis you want. Look, now I've got it kind of modified the way you want it. It's funny, I do these calls in the UK and they're like, we don't say awesome. That's so American. I say, well, there's nothing wrong with enthusiasm, but you can just say, have a nice day if you'd like, right? You can change the script slightly. Okay, so once you've got this the way you want it, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna actually I'm gonna copy this so I can go send it in Facebook. So we're Facebook friends. So I'm gonna pop over here to Facebook. It's on another tab. We're just gonna look up Laurie. There she is. And send her this message. Okay. Okay, there it is, pasted and sent. Don't overthink it. Don't get there and stare at it. Just send it. Okay, so let's log this. That was a Facebook message. So I toggled back over to Teamzy just so I can finish logging it. See the big blue button, log connect, done. So now I've got 1 done, 8 left. Okay, so the next person on my list is Jay. Again, don't overthink it. Just use the same script. I'm going to paste it in there and just change the name. Okay, only take me a second. Look, it's ready to go. Okay, and again, we'll just paste this and send it. Look her up. Just send that message. Okay, boom, done. Sent. Toggle back, log it, keep going. Okay, if you're on your mobile phone, you can do the same thing. You can toggle between apps. Okay, so I've got 2 done, 7 left. You guys see how this circle is filling in? So as I go down my list, this circle will fill all the way blue. Okay, and that's my visual cue that I'm done with prospects. So in my case, it was 9. When I messaged 9 people, I'll move over to the next list, which is customers. Now, just real quick on this, you don't have to respond to incoming messages yet. Just get focused on getting the outgoing messages done so you don't get sidetracked. You don't want this to become a 3-hour power hour, right? Just focus on the outgoing messages. Okay, and we'll talk about in a little bit what to do with the incoming messages. But right now, we just want to get them all out. It's kind of like, you know, your messages in a bottle going out. Okay, next list is customers. Again, just let Teamzy suggest who's next and stay in touch with your customers. Look, I know that you guys have the best of intentions on follow-up with customers, right? Like you want to do it in a specific way on specific dates. But here's what I'm here to tell you. I really haven't found leaders in this business who are good at consistently staying in touch with their customers because it's too complicated. And then what happens is they fall behind and they get overwhelmed and then they don't do anything. This is so simple. Just come in here and do your power hour. When your customers come up, you send them a quick message. You will be in regular contact with everybody without having to think or plan. Again, I got some great scripts here. Colby's the first person on my customer list. Let's pick a script. So I've got stuff like, I love this one. Colby, you're doing so great. I'm proud of you. Congratulations on. Is this a great script for people who are getting great results with the products? Is this better than saying, your order's coming up? Would you like to add to it? Yeah. Congratulations. I saw that you lost 10 pounds. That's amazing. She knows exactly why. I love this one. Here's a simple one. When you haven't talked to a customer in a while, it's very professional and an easy way to start a conversation. Hi, Colby. How are you enjoying? What are the products she's using? How are you enjoying your trim down trio? Please send me an update. Let me know how I can be of help. Send me an update. Let me know how I can be of help. Simple. You guys, these are so easy to do, and it's so incredible when you're in contact with your customers. Here's my favorite one for customers. Hi, Colby. Just checking in to see if there's anything I can do to make your day. Have any of you guys used this one? The results are unreal, especially right now. So look, I'm going to put that in there. I know it says Jane, but I was reading Colby because that's who we're sending it to. Okay, so ready to go. Again, go send it to her and then log it in Teamzy the same way. You're just going to go down your list of customers. My goal is 6 a day. So I'm going to, whoever the next 6 customers are, I'm going to message them. Now, here's another pro tip on this. Canceled or past customers, treat them as if they never canceled. Treat them as if they're the solid gold they are. Okay. Anybody who buys anything from you ever, you keep them in here and you keep connecting with them because I guarantee you they come back. They come in and they come out and they come back and they come in and they come out and they come back. Just because they cancel doesn't mean they stop being your customer. It just means they don't need anything this month. Does that make sense? So stay in touch with them. This is a gold mine. Now, I just want you guys to understand why this is so important to your business. When you are in regular contact with your customers, 2 magical things happen. Number 1, statistically, they order more product and they retain longer. Okay, when you're in regular contact with your customers, statistically, they order more product and they retain longer. Okay, how many of you guys would love to see everyone in the team have their customers order more product and retain longer. That makes a big difference, right? And that's actually what makes us money. So it's just a service thing. I mean, just think about a time you guys had a great service experience at a nice restaurant, right? If you have attentive staff that's present, you tend to order more, you tend to spend more, and you tend to love the experience you had, right? And you remember, man, we had a great time. Remember that, how great that waiter was or that waitress was? And that's what being in regular contact does. They order more product, they retain longer, which for a large team is massive. People are using Teamzy. They have a simple way to track and stay in touch with customers. The other piece of the puzzle, and I wish I had a whole hour just to talk on this topic, is the idea of getting new customers. How many of you guys can think of at least one customer that you just love, that you want, like, I want to clone this person? Can you guys, yeah, everyone's got somebody in mind. That's good. How do you go get more of those people? What's the message board on Xyngular Corporate that has qualified people, just like your favorite customer list, where you can just click on them? Nobody hands those to you, right? You have to go find them. So where do you find people like that? Do we need to do an Instagram training to go find people? No, you guys, the best place to find a great customer is from a great customer. Okay, the best place to find a great customer is from a great customer. And I just want you guys to understand this. Your customers, they're out there getting great results and loving it, right? How many of you guys have somebody getting great results and loving it? What do people like that do? They tell their friends and family. They talk about it. They can't help themselves. What are you doing? You look great. Oh, I'm doing Xyngular. It's awesome. They are talking about, I guarantee you, your customer, the ones you guys all raised your hand and thought of, is talking about Xyngular with friends and family. Did you know that 82% of North Americans say they make their purchasing decisions based on the recommendation of a friend? Not because of the TV commercial, not because of the video corporate made. Forgive me, Curtis, for saying that, but it's true. Not because of, right? Not because of the beautiful blue color that is the Xyngular logo. They do it because their friend recommended it. So your customers are telling friends about Xyngular. They're very likely now to buy it. They've got all the marketing they need. Their friend recommended it. The question I have is, are you getting introduced to those people? And probably not in most cases. Because step one is you got to be in regular contact with your customers so that you have the relationship with them to be able to ask them to introduce you to their friends. And I don't mean just sending them some slick script, which, by the way, I do have those in there on how to get introduced. I mean, just naturally, just talking to people. Laurie, you've been getting such amazing results, and I know you're super fired up about how well things have been going for you. And I imagine you probably told some friends and family about Xyngular. Before I get too busy this month, I just wanted to ask, is there anybody that you care about that needs more information? Because since you're my favorite customer, I want to make sure I take care of your people first. So do you have anybody that needs more info before my calendar fills up this month? She says, well, yeah, I was actually talking to Tori and I was talking to Donna. Perfect. Would you mind introducing them to me, Laurie, and I'll get them some more info. See, if you ask people to tell people about you, or if you ask people to keep you in mind when talking to people, that's nice. It just doesn't come to fruition very often. You need to ask people to introduce you, okay? And make it easy, just a group text or something. Just introduce me via group text or a group Facebook message, and I'll get them some more info. Here's what happens. First of all, honestly, you can create all of the new business you need ever from the customers you already have, which is fun. The other thing is when Laurie introduces me to Tori and Donna and they're both interested, now I'm going to go back to Laurie and say, hey, Laurie, thank you so much for introducing me to your friends. I'm going to help both of them this month. They both have needs that we can help them with. But before I set them up, I just wanted to ask you, have you ever thought of doing what I do? Because you've already brought two great people to my business. We could start one for you and put them with you. I mean, let me know. I could do it either way. I'm going to make sure they get great service, but have you ever considered it? It's also an amazing way to pick up great new team members. Does this make sense? From your best customers. Because it's an abstract thing to say, would you like to start a business? And it's a concrete thing to say, I've already got two of your friends ready. Does this make sense? But it starts with consistent contact to customers. Okay. So in our power hour, We're going to message our prospects, which, by the way, definition of prospect is everybody who's not already our customer or our team member. So we're going to message our prospects, then we're going to message our customers to stay in touch. We want to stay in touch with all our customers. I don't care if they bought some little thing 5 years ago. They actually gave you money. That is a level of trust much higher than the new people you're meeting. Does this make sense? So we stay in touch with them. Next list is our team. We're going to stay in touch with our team. That's why we called it Teamzy. Now you know why we named it this. Here's the big thing that is not really discussed in most trainings. It's never discussed in trainings from corporate. But if you guys want to be successful in this business, you need to understand the turnover rate in our business is high. True? The turnover rate in our business is high. Industry-wide, it's 50% a year. That's 1 out of 2 in a year. Okay? 50% a year, which is a bummer. So how do we work so hard to get people to join our business? How do we keep the ones that have joined? How do we retain them? How do we help them to stay with it so that we can help them be successful? And I want you guys to know there's all kinds of studies, there's all kinds of social science about what motivates people. And they've really found 2 things that motivate people. Just 2 things when it comes to working. One is recognition and status. Recognition and status. Right? That's why you guys have ranks. That's why Xyngular does all this cool stuff for you. They want you, that's the one thing they can do, is status and recognition. But as leaders, you guys can do that too. The number one thing, the thing that most impacts whether or not someone will stay with the business is relationship with you, your relationship, the connection to the leader, to the team, to the culture. Okay. That's why this huge piece of our power hour is staying in touch intentionally with team members. Just sending them a little text message. Hey, I was thinking about you. How's everything going? Is there anything you need? I saw that, maybe you saw something that cool they did on social media. Comment on it, send them a message, but not just on their post, send them a personal message. Remember how to deepen a relationship? Investment of time, personal connection. You guys getting this? Investment of time, personal connection. This is huge. As your team grows, it'll be harder to stay in touch with everybody, but those messages will mean even more. Make sense? Think about for a second. I know we've got a couple of big leaders on this team. Maybe that's who you're going to think that are on this call, but think about for a second, somebody that you look up to in Xyngular. How impactful it would be to get a text message out of the blue that says, hey, I'm proud of you. I saw the milestone you achieved. You signed your first customer or whatever. I saw you and I'm proud of you. Good job. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, it means so much. Now, some of you guys are new and you've got 1 or 2 people, maybe nobody on your team. And you're like, who's going to care if they get a message from me? And I want you to start thinking like a multi-million-dollar producer now. And you start treating your team this way now. Make sense? So prospects, customers, distributors, 19 people in my example, I'm going to make their day. Okay. That's the first half of my power hour. I know it took me forever to describe it, but picture it taking you 20 minutes, right? Just sending those messages out. The second half of the power hour is the follow-ups list. Okay. The follow-ups list. Now, real quick on this, people don't go to the follow-ups list automatically. Remember in Teamzy, you don't have to set a follow-up just to stay in touch. That's automatic. So we use the follow-ups list to stay in touch with people we have shared with. These are people who the conversation has moved to, they've said, this is what I need. And you said, great, here are the products I think you should order. We've shared the products with them, or we have sat down or we have shared a business opportunity with them. Those are the people on our follow-ups list. The follow-ups list is the professional. This is where you put on your professional hat. We're not just making their day and being nice and friendly and caring. Now we are being a pro. And let me kind of show you how this works. So for example, in the beginning of our power hour, we messaged Laurie, hi Laurie, how are you? Hope you're having an awesome day. She responds, great to hear from you. Oh my gosh, you really did make my day by messaging me. You have no idea what my week's been like. I've been hearing that a lot from everybody, right? It's been a crazy time. So now she's responded. Great. So now we're going to message back and forth a little. And the goal is just to engage her in conversation, not to talk about Xyngular or wait for the shoe to drop, but just to have a conversation, be interested in her. Like, what's going on with you? How have you been? Tell me about your family. Like, is there anything good going on? How have you been through the whole weird pandemic year? Like, send me an update. Tell me what you've been up to. And by the way, that's my secret phrase. Send me an update. Man, send me an update works unbelievable. Okay. Little trick I learned from my business partner, Mike Lopez, one of the co-founders of Teamzy, is don't ask questions. People say, oh, ask open-ended questions in the conversation. Questions make people uncomfortable. So ask a question and then give a directive. Tell them what to do with the question. Okay. So like, hey, how are you? Send me an update. How have you been? Send me an update. So you ask the question, then you tell them how to do it. It makes them more comfortable, right? How are your kids? Tell me what they've been doing. And it's like, oh, okay. So just a little tip there. Okay, so I'm going to talk to, she and I are going to have a conversation. We're just going to chit chat. And my goal is really to listen and learn and see if there's anything I can do to help Laurie. This conversation might lead to a share, it might not, right? But my hope is that as I uncover needs, maybe I can help her with my Xyngular business. So let's just assume that comes up. She's been seeing my post. She says, hey, I've been watching what you're doing, and I've been meaning to message you and I haven't. And oh, great. Well, if you'd like to learn more about what we're doing, let's jump on a Zoom or jump on a phone call and talk a little bit more. She says, great. So just picture this happens. We get on our Zoom and now we're going to have a talk. I'm going to really find out what Laurie needs, what she wants, what she needs, and see how I can help her. How do I log this in Teamzy? Let me just show you what I would do. First off, she's not on my dashboard anymore. She's already cycled through. So I'm going to use the lookup bar to find her record. You just put a little bit of her name and it will pop right in. There she is. That takes me to her contact record where I can log anything with her. I'm going to open up that connect box. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually log this Zoom that we're doing. I'm just going to put in here all the notes from our Zoom. Okay. Notes that I took during our call, and I'm going to log a share. So I'm on the Zoom, I share with her the opportunity, Xyngular opportunity. So I'm going to log that. So right where it says share in the bottom left, you click that and you move it from regular connect to maybe a product share or a business opportunity share. Now, as soon as I did that, and now I'm logging this as a share, it activated the follow-up list. Do you see that right there? So it defaults to 2 days, but you can change it to any day you want. I usually would follow up tomorrow. Okay. So I'm going to log this. Now you'll notice right here on her activity, there's a scheduled follow-up coming up tomorrow. Okay. And you can see there's the Zoom that we logged. Now, if I go to my dashboard, check this out. You can see there's been one share logged now. Okay. And if I go to my follow-ups list, there she is due tomorrow. Okay. What this did was it took her off the prospects list. She is not going to cycle here. She's only going to be here on my follow-ups list. It's moved over to the follow-ups list. It's now put her in a place where it's like, now I have a responsibility to follow up professionally with Laurie because she's asked me for help and I've shared a solution with her. Now, let me just quickly explain how this works. So the second half of the power hour is when you see this notification that you've got follow-ups due, you come over to your follow-ups list and you send messages to everyone on your follow-ups list that's due. Okay, so let's pretend Laurie's due. So again, I'll go to my scripts and I'll just get a follow-up script. I put all 10 of my follow-up scripts in here for you guys. So if you're not good at this, you can just use my scripts. They work great. Look, here's number 1. Here's how it reads. Hi, Jane, just checking in like I promised I would. What questions do you have for me? Just checking in like I promised I would. What questions do you have for me? Okay, so let's copy that. And it's just like doing a regular connect. Okay, we're just going to put it in there. We're going to put in change to the correct name. If you've want to put some emojis, you can. Okay, whatever. You guys with me? Once you've got it the way you want it, toggle over. Oh, she's already there. Great. We're going to send her this message. So now we've sent her our follow-up message, and then you log it in Teamzy. Okay, so we log in Teamzy, and then Teamzy is going to say, okay, did that check off the follow-up you had scheduled? Say, yeah, I did. And then add another follow-up. Great, because I want to keep following up with her. Let's say I'll follow up on Thursday. Great. So now it's done. So now I've got a follow-up due with her on Thursday.
Oh, Eric, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where I get confused. And I've literally done like 3 one-on-one calls. Okay, so in our business, a prospect, you're going to follow up. We have a follow-up system, And then even when you get down to that last one that says, you know, whatever, keeps it open-ended, you're going to follow up once a month with them, right? Customers, we're going to follow up through their whole 8 days for sure. And then we're going to follow up at least once a week with them. You know, distributors, your front line, you're going to talk to them, you know, you should at least once a week. So I guess I'm confused. So I didn't understand. So the power hour, when you're saying, you know, the, what'd you say, 16 or 18, 9, 6, whatever the heck they add up to, you're doing that for your power hour. So you're just stopping by not only to say hi to some prospects, but customers and distributors just for the heck of it. See where I'm confused? Or would those only be the people that kind of drop off and you're still saying hi to?
Well, you're not going to follow up with a customer every week forever. There's no way.
Well, I know to a certain point. Do you know what I'm saying? To their, you know, they're getting.
I mean, after a few weeks, you're going to feel weird contacting somebody every week. Once you get through that first, I know you guys do that first system, then it's like, right? You're kind of like, why am I? This is too often. So there's staying in touch and they're staying in touch there's not staying in touch and they're staying in touch too often. Both of those can damage a relationship. Does that make sense?
So that is just to stop by and make their day for not only prospects, customers, and distributors.
Yeah. So if you've got somebody in those first few weeks where you're following up a lot because they're new, then great. Then you can, and I know we built that multiple follow-up system into the follow-ups for you guys to do that. We made that just for Xyngular, so you guys could do that. So they could be over there. You know, you get a new customer, you can keep them on that follow-ups list so you can set those next 5 follow-ups. Then after that, I would take them off the follow-ups list and just let them cycle through the customer list. Then you just stay in touch over time. And most of your customers, you won't even once a month is way too often. You know, you're going to be touching them every few months and it's going to be fine. They're going to feel like they're in regular contact with you because every time you message them, they're going to be more aware of your social posts. You're going to see them interacting on your Facebook and Instagram pages. You know, it's just going to happen more often. They're going to be more engaged with you. Does this make sense? So it's like the long-term play. So you guys have some short-term strategies where you're connecting with people more, which is great, but over time, it needs to be a comfortable amount. Does that make sense? So you want to be in touch, but not overdoing it. So this helps you manage it. The other thing is, you know, when you have 900 customers, when you have 1,000 customers, it starts to be impossible to stay in touch with all of them at a high frequency. So you want to stay in touch with all of them at a regular frequency, maybe 2-3 months apart. It's fine. Does it make sense?
Okay.
So I know you do. You know, Laurie, I've seen your connect numbers because you've been in my boot camps and I've seen you on my book. Like you put big numbers up as far as how many people you're reaching out to on a daily basis. I think that's probably more than the average bear will do.
Overwhelming a bit.
Yeah. So and it's not necessary to maintain that pace forever. The other thing that's pretty cool is that when you have been in the business a long time as you have, it actually takes less contact because you've got more trust with people. So it takes less contact to get the results. It's kind of like, I love the analogy of a rocket ship launching to space, right? The rocket ship, you guys have seen these launches, right? As kids, we had the NASA, now we have like the SpaceX, these huge rockets. But in space, just the little tip is the spacecraft, isn't it? It's just like the huge rockets are just to launch it. And then the spaceship is this little tiny thing that literally, you know, it does like, psst, psst, like that much air steers it because it's in space. There's no need for a lot of fuel because there's no resistance. And a business is like that too. In the beginning, it takes a lot of contact to get things going. As time goes on, it takes you less. This is why you'll have people who are leaders in the business, their ratios of connect to sale. You guys will see this on your business page. You know, you might in the beginning have 100 connects to sale ratio or 50 connects to a sale ratio. And then you'll see people who've been doing this for many years will have a 3 to 5 connects to a sale ratio. It's like, how are they getting a sale every time they reach out to 5 people? Because they've built that momentum in their business. So the good news for you, Laurie, is it gets easier. It gets easier. I'm not telling you to take your foot off the gas, but I just mean just being consistent. It doesn't have to be at that pace forever. And I know you've been for the past 3 or 4 months, really cranking it up in Teamzy. So hopefully that encourages you. All right. So what I want to tell you guys about the follow-up is this. You have somebody who's excited. You've shared with them. They are just, they're super excited to get started. And you're so excited about this new person. And then what happens? They don't buy. Has this happened to anybody? It happens all the time. The vast majority of people who are very excited don't actually, and you're like, okay, great. Here, I'm sending you everything. Here it is. All you have to do now is pay for it. And they're like, great, I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to do it right after supper. Great, perfect. And then you're at 10 o'clock at night, you're in the back office. No purchase, right? Why? This is why you have to follow up. This is normal. I just want you guys to know this is so normal. It's like 90% of the people you talk to don't, right? This is why we used to love getting together with people and being like, hand me your card. I'm going to put it in for you, right? This is where the follow-up comes through. Okay, so this is why the first one is, hey, I'm following up like I promised I would. Always tell them, hey, I tell you what, great, put it in that thing after dinner, but I'll check in with you tomorrow to see if you have any questions. Okay, make the promise that you'll check in, even if you're sure they're going to purchase, because they probably won't. And so now you've got them on that follow-ups list. And I just want you guys to get this concept. You have to keep following up. You just have to keep following up. They probably won't respond. So the next step, next morning, there's no purchase. And then now you're following up and there's no response. How many of you guys have had the cricket response from people? Yeah, it's totally normal. Okay, so here's what I want. There's stats on this. 20% of the people will make the purchase within 3 follow-ups. 20%. So most people in our business follow up 3 times, 4 times. They feel like they're doing a great job. And they're getting 20% to purchase or sign up, either way. 80% takes 7 to 10 follow-ups. The other 80% takes 7 to 10 follow-ups. Okay. I know people are looking at me like, you're not making our day, Eric. But this is the truth. Now, here's the good news. You don't have to be annoying to follow up 10 times. You can do this without being annoying. How many of you guys are worried about coming across annoying? So I'll teach you real quick how to do it. And then we'll do some Q&A. Okay. And I'll send you guys on your way. But there is a way to follow up without being annoying. If you use the 10 scripts in a row, they're numbered, by the way, in Teamzy. They are already written to not be annoying. Okay. But let me just teach you the concept. So when you're following up, so just as my example, I'm talking to Laurie. Laurie's like, I'm so excited. Great. I'm going to help you, Laurie. I can't believe, thank you so much. I'm so excited to work with you. Great. And then she doesn't purchase. So remember, she's asked for my help and I'm telling her I'll follow up to check in on you. So now I've made a promise to her to help her and to follow up. So I'm going to follow through on this. Does this make sense? I know that the vast majority of people aren't going to complete the purchase tonight. And I know that most of them are going to take 7 to 10 follow-ups. It's kind of like, I'm excited, but I know that we're not over the finish line yet. So I'm going to keep reaching out to her and connecting with her. So here's how to do it without being annoying. Principle number 1, don't ask her to do anything. Don't ask her to do anything. Don't ask her to call you or text you or, I love this when people say something like, can you just let me know whether you're interested one way or the other? Just let me know, for crying out loud. Can you just do the decency of letting me know? It's like you get frustrated. No. Just take all that frustration and go do something else. Lift some weights or something. Go for a run. People are going on with their lives. So here's what's really happening is I messaged Laurie. She sees my message. She smiles because she remembers how excited she was. And she's like, I really do need to respond. And then she sees that the dog's throwing up on the baby. She's driving her car, whatever. She just can't do it right now. It's not that she doesn't want to. She's just, her life's happening. Does this make sense? So don't ask them to do anything because that could be annoying. If she's really has a bunch of stuff going on and I say, can you please just call me? It's like, oh God, leave me alone, right? Because right now I'm busy. The second principle is this. When you're sending your follow-up, make it short enough that they can read the whole thing without opening it. Okay, they need to read the whole thing without opening it because 90% of the time they will not even open your follow-up message. Why? Is it because they don't like you? No, it's because they're not planning to respond right now. And if they open it, they'll look like a jerk because you'll know they opened it. How many of you guys do this? You save those messages unopened until you can get to them. Does it sometimes happen that you don't get to it? And then you find out later, oh my gosh, I never responded to your last message. I'm so sorry. Happens to me all the time. Someone will message me and I'll go to respond and I'll see that they messaged me 6 months ago and I didn't respond to it. Has that ever happened to you guys? It happens to everybody. Okay. So keep it short enough they can see it without opening it. Why? Because they will always see it. People are so addicted to their phones. Even if they're not going to open it or respond, they will look down and see what the message is. Look, I just got one from my wife. And I'm not ashamed to tell you, I just read it. I can't respond to her right now. I'm in the middle of a Zoom with you guys. But I read it, didn't I? This is the way people are wired. Just stay in touch with them. Just stay in touch. It'll keep you top of mind. Every time they see that little message from you, it reconnects them to the hope and excitement they felt when they talked to you. And what will happen is no response, no response, no response. And then all of a sudden you'll get, I'm so sorry I haven't responded. Thanks for staying in touch. Okay. You guys, this is not experimental. This is a system that works. Thousands of people, every personality, every business type you can imagine. You create conversations every day by making people's day. Find ways to serve and help people. A portion of those people are going to be interested in talking more. You're going to share with them and put them on your follow-ups list. And people on that follow-ups list will close, they'll join the team or purchase every single week consistently. Some people might have been on that list for a year. Some might have been on that list for 2 days. It depends on the person. But if you consistently work that list and stay in touch with people, they will come off it and you will see consistent results in your business, just ramping up. Bring new people in, teach them the same system. You'll see it building. Does this make sense? You don't have to do cheesy salesy stuff. You don't have to know you don't have to be trained in psychology and all this stuff. Just be a normal, authentic person who cares for others. Work the system consistently and you'll see consistent results. Does this make sense? So once Laurie's signed up, let me just show you really quickly how to put her in your system. And then if you've got some questions, I'll be happy to take them. So she's no longer on actually she is here, but we're going to look her up just to go to her thing. That's the easiest thing. We'll look her up. And when I get over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on sale and just log that she made a purchase. Okay, so let's say she got the ultimate. Great. Save it. And then also I would tag, specific products that she's using so that I have it all tagged. And then I'm going to move member type over.
I did not know you put that in there. That's so freaking cool.
I told you everyone would learn today.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll shut up.
And then what we're going to do is if she came in as a customer, just click on customer. That moves her over. Maybe she came in on the team, click on distributor, personally sponsored. And then what I would do is I would just tag all of the products that she's using so that I have them tagged. The tags, do it when they make their purchase. That way, when you have all your tags, later I could click on this tag and I see everybody who used that product. This is really cool. Like, I know you guys have been coming out with new flavors, so it's like, well, everyone using trim sticks, I could click on and I could have the list and I could let all of them know there's a new flavor. I could message them individually. Does this make sense? So whenever you have a product release, it's great to have all those tags. But even just at a quick spot, like when she says, hey, can I ask you a question? I come to her record, I can see all of the products that she's bought from me at a glance. So I'm a little bit more prepared. Makes sense? Okay, and that's how you do it. And so, it's just a really simple system. You get everybody in there and you just let Teamzy lead you. Okay, don't overthink it. Just let Teamzy lead you. Now, a couple things I highly recommend is that you schedule your power hour as an appointment. Put it in your calendar as an appointment with yourself, okay? And just during that time, that's your appointment. It's like you're with somebody, you're doing your power hour. I also recommend that you set aside a couple of little periods of time, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour if you have them, to respond to messages, okay? So like, for example, when I was doing my business, I had a job. So I would do my power hour before work, and then I would respond to messages in my lunch break, and I would respond to messages after dinner in the evening when the kids were in bed. Otherwise, you will be on your phone all day long, hair on fire, responding to people all day long. But if you set aside a couple times, it's no big deal. You message them, they message you back. At lunch, you message them. you could just go down your list, message everybody on the list again, and then do it again in the evening. And that'll help you do it, manage all those incoming messages, because you will get a lot of responses without losing your mind. Hopefully that's helpful. Okay, if you guys have questions, let me give you a couple action steps. First off, I want you guys to know, if you're not using Teamzy, remember the free trial, you go to teamzy.com/Xyngular. We have a special arrangement with Xyngular Corporate, so you get special pricing. It's 35% off on the monthly. So it's only $19.95 a month instead of $30 a month, which is awesome. Thank you, Xyngular Corporate. If you go for an annual, like if you love Teamzy and you want to pay for 12 months in advance, the discount's like 45%. So pretty cool. So you get a nice discount. So if you're in a free trial, you can set that up anytime. You can start your subscription at any time in your free trial. You won't actually be billed till after your 30 days, but you'll see under your name when you log in, it says days left to subscribe. You can click on that to set up your subscription anytime. Okay. The other little thing I want to recommend is if you guys are looking at doing, I know you guys are doing Laurie's doing a Teamzy challenge in the team. Some of you are thinking about doing the Teamzy free trial, but I recommend you guys team up in groups of 2 or 3 for the next 30 days as accountability partners. Team up, say, let's do this. Let's go for it for 30 days in Teamzy. And then what you do is you screenshot your dashboard each day and message it to your team, to your partner or partners. Hey, look, I did my Teamzy Power Hour. You'll get so much more done with that accountability than you'll do on your own. And you'll be super irritated when your team's done theirs and you haven't. It'll make you do it. It'll make you do it. Does that make sense? All right. If you guys have questions, I'll open it up for a few questions. Just go ahead and unmute and ask away.
But there's no better feeling than to have your Teamzy done first thing in the morning.
That's true.
I have a question for you. So when you were showing the prospects, the customers, the distributors, and then the follow-ups.
Yep.
So all of my people always show up under the follow-ups, but I always set follow-ups for all of my people. So is that why I'm never seeing anybody under those other 3 categories? Because I'm always setting up the follow-ups. I need to just let them run on their own?
Correct. If you set a follow-up, they won't show up on the other lists.
Okay.
Yeah. So if your goal is just to stay in touch with them, just let them roll through the other lists. If you have a specific reason to follow up with them, then put them on your follow-ups list.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Just to add to that question, like what if you scheduled a follow-up and then you followed up with them, but they're a 5-star, will they automatically go 30 days from that date that you followed up, or will they never cycle back on that list because you sent them a follow-up?
No, if you have a follow-up scheduled and you actually log a connect of any type, it'll clear that follow-up out. So they'll just cycle back to 30 days. Unless you have, that is, unless you have, 3 or 4 follow-ups set on for them already. If you don't,
right. I just want to make sure if it was somebody that like has succeeded on the product, say they've hit their goal, but I've already, I've reached out to them, I set up follow-ups, and then I don't follow up with them for a month. I just wanted to make sure that they're going to continue to pop back up in those 30 days if I don't have anything set up.
Yep, they will. Now, if you set a bunch, I'm going to say this because, not because Jody, it was you, but I know people have done this. Let's say you set a bunch of follow-ups and you really haven't been going into Teamzy and doing the follow-ups. Right? And now you have a bunch of stale follow-ups that are old that you're not planning on doing. Just keep in mind that those people are still not going to cycle back until a follow-up is completed because they're on the follow-ups list. So you want to go and clear those old follow-ups out to let people flow back. And for those of you guys who have lots of follow-ups, there's a really cool tool we built just for this purpose because we know that we're working with human beings. And so if you go to the team page on Teamzy and you click on tools and you go to follow-up contacts, there's actually a tool here that allows you can clear all your follow-ups, or you can go down your list and cherry pick follow-ups that you want to remove from your follow-ups list. Okay. So some of you might need to go back in and do some cleanup, and that tool's there for you.
That's cool.
I know.
I have a question.
If I miss a day or something of logging follow-ups, but I've actually talked to them on the phone, so I've had time to check my list. I just didn't have time to log them into Teamzy. So if I search the name, I can change the date to the date that I actually followed up with them.
You can change the name, you can change the date, or you can just look them up and log it.
Right.
It'll just reset from that day.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure thing. I think Chandra had a question. Let's go ahead and take hers.
I did. So now that I know the follow-ups won't be in the prospects list, how do you keep from adding the same person twice instead of going in and like searching their name every single time if you think you've put them in? Because like I get behind a lot and I try to keep it up. But obviously I'm still learning and still trying.
Well, if you think you might have put them in the past, just do a quick search and see if they come up. If they don't, then add them in. But you can manually add the same person in multiple times. Teamzy will not automatically import the same person twice, but we give you the because, for example, let's say you know 3 Eric Johnsons. That actually happens. So, right, people who have real common names like me. So, you know, you would put them in and they would be different people. So you have the ability to do that. So the best way to just check that is just put a few letters in and see if it comes up. Now, if you've already found that you have added multiple people or added the same person a couple of times, you can just delete the one you don't need. But there's also a merge tool. So if you've already, like if you've done connects with both of them and you want them to merge, there's a merge tool in the same menu I just showed you for the follow-ups. You go to tools on the team page. There's a merge tool where you can merge records if you've got somebody in there a couple of times.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure thing.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. When I started on Teamzy, I kind of just trying to go as fast as I possibly could, and I skipped some steps. How do I go back and reset the goals appropriately? Because I can't get my circles to finish filling because I did something wrong, no matter how much I do that day.
Okay, it's pretty easy. So if you're on the desktop version, right at the top it says Edit Daily Goals. You see that? So you just click that, and then you can actually change your income goal, or maybe you just want to leave the income goal and change the numbers. You go to the next page, and here you can modify these. So this is going to be also really good for those of you guys watching who don't have team members or customers. So let's say your goal is 150,000, but you don't have any customers or distributors. So you could actually make this 19 and you could change these to 0 for now. And then when you save it, I go back to my dashboard, you can see now I have those new goals.
Perfect. I'm really getting irritated not being able to get my circles complete.
Well, you know, there is a psychological satisfaction to seeing those circles complete. It's like kids playing video games and passing levels, except this won't waste your life. It's actually building your life, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure thing. Any other questions?
Yes. How did you add the emojis to the messages?
I use a Mac, so I just right click. I'm not sure what it is on. Does right clicking work on other computers, guys? So there are definitely keystrokes on a Mac. You can also do Control Command Space to get the emoji menu, and I know there's keystrokes like that on Windows and PCs and HPs and everything else. So just Google, how to get the emoji menu on whatever your computer is, and it'll tell you. There's going to be an easy shortcut though, because everybody uses them. But yeah, on a Mac, you just right click wherever you're typing and you'll get the emoji menu.
Sometimes if I use my phone to type in the message, I can access emojis through my phone, and then I just copy and paste it into the Teamzy.
Yeah, if you're on your
There's
phone,
that option too
if you're
for
on
emojis.
if you're on the phone, the emoji keyboard is part of your keyboard. So it's right there. It's really easy. Yep.
I have a question. So what do you put in the notes? I mean, so you're writing in there what you've said to him that day.
Yeah.
And then that you will see that, as you go along, but what do you put in notes?
So what I would put in notes is general notes about the person that I want to be reminded of, like their story. That's what I would put in notes. Is what's their story?
Because that stays there constant, right?
Yeah, it's right there when you come in, you see it, so like cancer survivor, mom of 4, like details like that I want to know. I want to jog my memory about their story. That's what I would put in notes. Also, there's a lot of data that you can paste into notes when you import things in. So like things that maybe come from your virtual office that you want to put in, will come into the notes. But that's the kind of stuff I would put in the notes, is their story. Does that
And
make
I would
sense?
say your stats. I would say your stats with like customers, or if you're talking to distributor in notes, like, say maybe it's a new one and their quick start, like when is their last day to get their quick start, or when is their last day to get their $100 gift card redeemed. I mean, those are two important things to put in there for sure.
But wouldn't
We forget-
wouldn't you put those as a follow-up though, so it comes up at you?
Yeah.
I'm still writing the date, so I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are things you can put in notes. And I put things like relationships, like, oh, this is so-and-so's husband, or, this is a good friend of so-and-so. Like all that kind of stuff is there so that when you're messaging them, it's like, it just kind of jogs your memory. I know that you'll probably go look at their Facebook or whatever, but that's what the notes are for, really, is just any notes that you want to have on them in general that's not specific to the conversation you're logging. Yeah. A lot of times what I would do is I would actually have that notes open, like if we're having a Zoom or something, I would say, do you mind if I take notes? Now, people are usually kind of like, really? Like, you really care about what I'm going to say enough to take notes? Yeah. So I would open that up and I would be doing it right in Teamzy, right? And the reason why, you guys, and again, this is a whole nother training, but the most important thing is to ask people, what they want to achieve, why they want to achieve it, really get deep into their why, rather than just getting to the sale. Because as we coach them through the process, people tend to give up. I mean, I've been in the coaching game 20 years. People tend to give up all the time. And so we call them quitting points. So even successful people come to quitting points all the time. And the question is, will something help them persist past that quitting point to get to the next one, right? And so when you see people getting to quitting points, that's when you want those notes, because then you can go, hey, Laurie, remember when we talked and you said that it was really important to you to be fit, not just for the way your clothes fit, but because you wanted to have energy for your kids, and you wanted to achieve that special goal of whatever it was. Like, you bring people back to what they told you. You have all those notes so that you can with grace and love, like, remind them, remember you wanted to do this and I told you I'd help you do it. That's why I'm checking in, because I want to keep you on track. So those, that's why I think the notes is kind of a magic thing, because it's just there in general. That's what I mean by story. It's kind of like, I want to be able to stay connected to that first really genuine conversation we had throughout our relationship, if that makes sense.
Eric, just to kind of jump in on that tonight. So I've been working on my Teamzy pretty often. And so tonight there was some lady named Bonnie that came up on my list that I couldn't even remember who Bonnie was. So I used one of your scripts. Hey, Bonnie, just checking in to see how you're doing, see if I can answer any questions. Well, then she turned into an ultimate distributor tonight. So it just, well, yeah, it just reminds me though that I would have never followed up with Bonnie, because I have no idea who Bonnie is. And if I wouldn't have stuck her in Teamzy when she first contacted me, I think about all the other people that I have probably lost over the months. And so my one thing now is, as soon as somebody reaches out to me, I go stick them in Teamzy, because otherwise I'm going to forget about them, like her. And you just don't know who you're missing out on. So I just think of Laurie and her chicken list.
It's so true. And you know what's so funny is, like, you didn't remember who she was, but you did it anyways, which is great. And I've even had people go, do I know you? Why'd you message me? And I would just go, you know what's so funny? I was wondering who you were too, but I saw we're friends, so I thought I'd send you a message. So, like, and I've had great conversations happen through that, because it's just so authentic, right? It's like, how do we know each other? This particular person, we went back and forth trying to figure out how we knew each other. For several days, we were messaging, do you know this person? Nah. Do you know this person? No. Oh, you must know this person? No. And then she finally was like, hey, I just saw like the stuff that you're doing with people and I kind of need help. And so it's like, yeah, great, let's talk. Right. So I love that story, Jenny. Thanks for sharing that. The thing is because of this approach, people are more willing to talk and be excited to talk to you, because they're so used to somebody going, hey, I don't remember who you are, but would you take a look at this video? And if I send you a video, would you watch it? They're like, oh my gosh, wasn't that in some book that's everybody else read? Leave me alone, you know, type thing. So we want to make sure that we're just being authentic, sharing and loving on people, and you'll get a great response. Okay, let's take one
Hey,
more.
Eric,
Yeah.
can I run a scenario by you really quick?
Yeah, sure thing. How's it going?
So good. How are you? So I am old school. And when we came out, you know, the Teamzy, when the twins really introduced it to us, I was just learning how to do like fast chats, testimonial pages.
Yeah.
I mean, I built my business just talking to people constant. That's how I built, you know, but I am paying for Teamzy. I did join Teamzy, but I've never used it. And so I'm being honest, so tell me what direction I need, because I love it. I love what you're saying. It's got me fired up. So I'm a beginner, you know, because I've not started it and I don't want to. So what direction can you give me? Tell me where to go. Is there like a Zoom you guys do at the beginning so I can start fresh?
Yeah, a couple things. I actually did a training for executives and above. That you might want to check out, and it's posted in one of your guys' groups that I don't have access to. But what I would say to you is, I want you to think about this. You don't have to answer it right now, but think about what group of people do you want to have a deeper relationship with? So because your business is going to be different than someone that's brand new and starting out. So like, what group is it? Is it front level, second level team members, leaders on your team? Is it going to be, you know, customers that you want to talk to? Like, so, you know, you're not at the stage where you need to be doing nearly as much prospecting as somebody who's newer, but you do need to be figuring out what are the strategic relationships that you want to stay in touch with. And so what I would recommend you do is, that's who we want to get into Teamzy and get you in the habit of actually just reaching out consistently to some of those groups. Does that make sense? And so,
yeah,
I think that's huge. I like a good friend of mine who in another network, who has a very large team. He built the business, having meetings at the Holiday Inn and and he still does that. He travels around, and his team will fill a ballroom and he'll go talk to them. And it's, you know, that's just a way the business was done for a long time. And what we did was we put all of his first level and all the emerging leaders on his team into his Teamzy, so that he could really focus on staying in touch with people. And that's been really helpful for him. So, so I would say for you, it's like, let's just looking at, you know, what do you want to do? What do you want to achieve at this point in the game? Who are the people that you want to talk to the most? You know, and get those people in Teamzy, and let the tool help you build awesome relationships or deeper relationships with them. Does that help?
Could I'll check, and then if I call customer service, can they give me some guidance too?
Yeah. Why don't you, when you get to where you're going, why don't you message me on Facebook, and you and I can set something up.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Sure thing. No problem. Cause we're Facebook friends, so you can find me there.
Hey, Freddie, this is Jody. Something Carrie Castelli told me and helped me huge is we can call Xyngular and have them give us our downline in a file in order to import in Teamzy. And that literally saved me hours and hours of work. So you can just tell them what levels you want. And if you don't want to go all the way deep to 8 levels, you can just tell them how far you want to go. They'll give you the file, import it, and you can just start following up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually did that, but honestly, I suck. But I'm sorry. But thanks, Jody.
It's just something new. That's all. We'll get you figured out. We'll get it figured out for you. Get you helped out with that. Okay. All right. Is there anyone else that had a burning question?
I just have one more, and I don't know if this is something that's even going to be capable ever, but when I first started Teamzy, I thought and I know there was some other people on a training that Laurie did were thinking the same way. that when they were logging it as a Facebook message, they were thinking that it was literally sending a Facebook message to that person. Do you think there'll be a point in time where Teamzy will ever be joined to your Facebook account to where when you do that, you don't any longer have to copy and paste, it automatically just goes to a message or to a text to where you can link your devices?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Facebook doesn't allow that anymore. Teamzy was like that in the very beginning. Facebook doesn't allow that. They have allowed some messenger integration for business pages, which doesn't really help most of you because you're on a personal page. But even that's starting to get limited and go away. Facebook doesn't want anybody, they want to be the king. So unfortunately, you're going to still need to go to Facebook to send the message. It's worth it though, because the response rate is really high in Messenger. It's still beyond 90% over the entire 1.5 billion people using it, which is unbelievable compared to like an email, which is like 2%. So that would be cool. That's the way we originally had planned to do it. But soon after we launched, they took that away from everyone, unfortunately.
Gotcha. It definitely works huge. I mean, it's definitely pays off in the end, so it's definitely worth the time. It's good to know that it's not your program that's not allowing that it's actually Facebook.
Yeah, it's Facebook. They want to make sure that people are going to Messenger. Now they've combined Messenger. I don't know if you guys noticed, but last week they combined Instagram direct message and Messenger as one messaging platform. So Messenger now pulls your Instagram contacts and your Facebook contacts. It's kind of awesome in what it allows us to do. And it's also kind of scary because, we need them so much to do what we need to do. So let's just hope that good continues to prevail at Facebook so that we can keep doing our business. But yeah, for now, we're going to have to keep doing that for Facebook. If there's any way to ever integrate that, we will have it done like within days of it being opened up to us. You can have my word on that one. We're constantly seeing what we can get away with Facebook and integrating with them, seeing what we could do there. So, all right. Well, Laurie, I just want to say thanks for setting this up. Did you have some final thoughts?
Thank you. Yes. Final thoughts is I want to thank you so much and greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that you took your time out of your busy schedule to help my team. This was awesome and wonderful. I'm sure everybody that was on live got, thought the same thing. I'm sure the ones that didn't. I strongly suggest using Teamzy. Strongly suggest. And honestly, I would recommend Eric's boot camp as well. I would totally recommend that, after you get used to Teamzy and stuff like that, when he has another one open next year, I strongly recommend it. I know Donna is on it as well. But again, love your program. Love you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. God bless you, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.